Okay, this bird has been down at Cabo in the Baja Peninsula of Mexico, and I haven't been there. I'm waiting for the words to come to explain um, if there is such thing as a benevolent God, and if this benevolent God is ever going to get off its ass and help the people on planet Earth. I just read a book from the Old Testament that I never saw before, and it was basically someone, I don't know, 3,000, 4,000 years ago, who said, God, when are you going to come and clean up this mess on planet Earth? And all these thousands of years later, I read the same book that was in Old Testament is thousands of years old. And I look around and say, apparently he never came. Because, the world's still a shit show. Is there going to be a great separation between the wheat and the chaff? Somewhere it says that in the Bible, and most people don't even know what that means because we don't grow up on farms anymore. But in the olden days, people knew about the wheat was what the part that you eat, and the chaff would be like the straw. So you have to separate it because you can't eat straw. And that was what these biblical books always talked about. The great separation between those people who are good and those people who are bad. King Clancy wants to know if I believe in God. The answer is I have a hard time believing in benevolent God because I don't see a supernatural being coming in and punching mean people in the head, telling them, like bitch slapping them and saying, stop being a nasty thing. And I read another really weird story in a Catholic website about what they called a saint who lived in Portugal in the first part of the 1900s. And she had terrible. She hardly ate anything. She ate the Eucharist every day, which is a couple of tiny pieces of bread and some wine. And she said that she was tormented, sounded like a horrible torment by demons, and that God had told her that she was going to suffer as his victim, and her suffering was going to uh, bring more faithful people into the church and help to save souls. But I read this story and I was absolutely horrified. I was horrified. If I had to experience what this woman went through, I wouldn't believe in a benevolent God. I'd believe that the devil himself had decided to kick me in the ass and punch me in the mouth every day, 24 hours a day. In other words, whatever God told her that she was going to have to do this, I read the story, I was horrified. And I'm going, if this is what the Catholic Church is using to entice people into its grasp, I'm getting, well, I don't belong to it, but I ain't going to go near anything that is saying that this is somehow about God. And I always say, if my idea of God, it's short form for good, Good, good God, and it's benevolence. And what I'm reading in this so-called saint is that she was tortured by demons. And the demons were saying, oh, we're God. So There's a big disconnect here. Is the divinity benevolent? Is it about being at least as good as most mothers on the planet to their children? I'll just leave these questions out there because this is another one of these spiritual religious books, and uh, you know it's why people go and say, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in this kind of God. This is supposed to be a benevolent God that they're preaching that created this world. And I'm going, it doesn't sound benevolent. If it's created this world is a nightmare. It's created hell here on Earth. And well, if there are benevolent gods, they seem to be losing the battle for planet Earth. Why do I say benevolent gods? Because there's individual humans who look out for other people as best as they can. And there are individual humans who are all about making more and more for themselves. And I read a new book that's come out about Western nations' foreign aid to places like Africa and South America. And it turns out that the amount that they donate to poor countries, it sounds like a lot. But this author analyzed it all and said it's a pittance compared to how much is taken out of these third world countries. Way, way more is taken out than it is put in by foreign aid. So, in essence, and they blame these Western countries, but most people in Western countries are not the ones that have all the money. Again and again, I say it is the uber wealthy, the ones that Forbes magazine says, 8 to 20 of them own as much as the bottom 4 billion humans. These ones are the ones that should be donating all of their stuff as philanthropists, not little piddly amounts. And then they shouldn't be expecting these countries to come back and enrich them, but they do. So is a benevolent God singularity at work on the planet since the Old Testament of the Bible? And this is as far as we've got. I watched a video the other day by Dr. David R. Hawkins of Consciousness Research. And on his YouTube video, he said that the average human rises 4 points on the scale of consciousness in one lifetime. And he said if you read his first book, Power versus Force, which explains the scale of human consciousness, you'll get a rise of 37 points just by reading the book, because you'll come to understand a little bit about consciousness. So it seems that just being human on the planet, a whole lifetime of hard knocks, you only get 4 points. Remember the scale, it runs from 1 to 1,000. It's an exponential scale. 1 is the consciousness of an amoeba. 1,000 is the consciousness of Buddha, Krishna, Jesus, Zoroaster. So, are we the same souls that were incarnating 3,500 years ago when they were making these Old Testament books? And we're only getting a jump of 4 points every lifetime? How many lifetimes have you been reincarnating on planet Earth, getting 4 points on the scale of human consciousness per lifetime? It seems like the climb up the ladder of consciousness is taking forever. Please subscribe to my channel. I make all these I ask more questions than I give answers. Quite often I'll explain things best as I know, but do I have all the answers? I can talk a very long time, but quite often I go back and I listen to my lectures, and I say they're not really lectures. They're kind of explaining these topics, and I can sometimes give an opinion about what I think should be, but I'm not God. I'm not all knowing. And in the end, they're basically food for thought for you. Please leave us comments. Please subscribe and share. I am Bobby Burrows, your ever present actor on this channel.